In today's video, we're checking out the top 5 guns of COD Mobile Season 10. Make sure to like, subscribe, and let's get into it. Today's shoutout goes to Stardust CODM. I may have shouted down before, but I will shout it out again if I have. Just let me know if I have already. I can't remember exactly everyone I've shouted out, so yeah. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and watch all their videos. They are actually some decent looking videos. So yeah, they'll be down below in the description and up here on the screen. So yeah, make sure to go and support them. And yeah, let's get into the top 5 guns. The first one to mention on our list today is the M13. So the M13 is a fast-firing assault rifle, which was often paired to the Kilo, but now the Kilo has overtaken it and it just basically outclasses it, so you can't really put them together anymore. It doesn't quite make it onto the list because when it would normally shine, which is the medium to longer ranges, we have guns like the Kilo, of course, and the Krieg 6, which outshine it in both those areas. So unfortunately, today it does not make it onto the list. Next honorable mention on our list is the Switchblade. With its recent massive nerf in the last season, it has now dropped down to only being on the honorable mentions, as there's a couple of guns that are past it in terms of its prime range, which was close range. Although it is still one of the best guns at close range, this guns like the CBR4 will outclass it and also are more consistent at the longer ranges. So yeah, sadly, it only gets an honorable mention on my list. And the final honorable mention on the list is the Holger. Although it got a big buff in in the last season, and that made it a top 5 gun. Although now with the release of the Krieg 6, it kind of takes its place. It was originally it was a high with the ADS bullet spread buff. It was a massive spray and pray weapon, although it can be inconsistent. It was very consistent at longer ranges. Although because of the slow mobility, it was not so good at close range. And with some of the top guns having the same same or better time to kill at longer ranges and better at close range, the Holger is sadly no longer on the top 5 guns list. In at the number 5 spot, we have the PP Bison. Previously one of the best guns on the list, it had got a big buff to the overall damage it does and the range, which makes it a lot more consistent at those closer to a massive damage buff, which makes it a lot more consistent at the close range, which is what it was lacking originally. And it also has a high mag and decent damage and decent recoil, which makes it an easy to use gun, and now with the recent buff, it puts it back into my top 5 guns. In at number 4 spot, we have the XPR and SKS, the two best longer range weapons in the game. So the SKS is more of a high fire rate marksman rifle, which is very good. Can be consistent at close range, but it's very consistent at those longer ranges. If you watched my top 5 guns videos before, you will know I do actually enjoy using this weapon. Of course, one shot potential, headshot potential across every map, and yeah, and then 2 shot anywhere on the body, I believe, which makes this an absolutely insane gun to use, especially with a high fire rate. And then same goes with the XPR. It's a 2-shot sniper with its same ability and good fire rate. The high fire rate is what puts it on above other snipers on this list, and it's also got a better 1-shot potential range of than the SKS, but it does lack in the mobility and visibility section because you have to have a scope on it. So yeah, would highly recommend checking both of these guns out. The next, in the number 3 spot, we have the CBR4, which is now been buffed recently. I don't know why they buffed it in a couple of seasons now, which now makes it the number 1 SMG again. It is one of my personal favourite guns in COD Mobile of all time. It is highly consistent at short to medium range, and if you build it out of ADS bullet spread, you can also make it somewhat good at longer ranges. Would highly recommend checking it out. It has decent damage and decent recoil as well if you build it out correctly. And yeah, so this CBR makes it onto the number 3 spot, and is the best SMG in COD Mobile Season 10. Okay, and in the number 2 spot, the top 2 could be switched around very easily. It's the Kilo 141. I don't really use the Kilo too much, although it is highly consistent and has really good ADS bullet spread, which makes it good if you are if you're in a laggy game or something. Then it is highly reliable, and at longer ranges has really good damage. And yeah, I would highly recommend checking it out if you haven't already. It is prime range, it's obviously medium to long range, as it has a slower mobility, although it can hold up if you're accurate at close range as well. So yeah, that is the number 2 spot. In at the number 1 spot, we have the Craig 6. This is a high risk, high reward. If you're accurate and able to hit your shots, then I would highly recommend going with this gun. You also, although you will need a red dot, which is kind of a downside because the iron sight is absolutely trash. And so to take any fights at range, you will need either the mythic skin or or a red dot, unfortunately. But this gun has a very good damage, although the recoil is not the best. You can build it out to satisfy with the recoil, and it has one of the best times to kill up close, and is actually better up close than the kilo, and also as roughly similar to the kilo when it comes to at range, which is why, but because of that versatility, it will be above the kilo at the number 1 spot.